Remember, class, please take this new history book with a grain of salt, since it focuses primarily on the history of white Western males.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times recess tackled serious issues.
It's easy to see why you hung around here so much. But I guess if all you do is hang around with people who are just like you start forgetting how other people feel. And sometimes, you even start thinking you're better than them.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most notable moments from Disney's recess that weren't just a time to play, but also a time to learn valuable lessons. Which of these has stuck with you the most? Channel your inner Miss Grotke and speak up in the comments. Number 10. Freedom of expression. Typically, when she was angry, sad, fired up, or it was just a regular day, Ashley Spinelli chose to express her emotions through her fists. In this episode, a basketball game leaves her pretty ticked off, and she looks for a productive way to blow off steam, eventually channeling her rage into art.
And razor-sharp claws! Then you make it your own, like this, see?
Spinelli?
And then you need to add some more over here, and a little bit more over here. Then get big like this!
Her friends see the tremendous value in her creation and go out of their way to protect it, even if that means defying the scary Miss Finster.
Come on, Miss Finster! Have a heart!
You needed something hosed down, Muriel?
That's right, Hank. Wash it off.
Gosh, Muriel, are you sure? It's an awfully nice piece of work.
This isn't the only episode where Spinelli directs her aggression into something artistic. She also puts her rage aside to let loose with Mikey in ballet class. Spinelli may not recognize her own talents, but at least she feels better.
The vast expanse of blacktop you spent the better part of 2 days laboring over.
You mean that drawing? That was just something I was doing because it helped me feel better. Doing it was the fun part. If it's gone, it's gone.
Number 9. Knowing your own value. In this Season 3 segment, the Ashleys assign all the kids numbers determining their social ranking.
They represent how much you're worth, as people.
Woohoo! I'm number 1! I'm number 1!
With 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest.
This new system quickly causes chaos across the playground as everyone succumbs to the hierarchy. As Gretchen aptly explains, the kids with higher ratings feel flattered, while those on the lower end lack the self-confidence to challenge the system. The ranking starts to tear friends apart, and it's not long until everyone's pretty miserable.
At least we're all together again.
Yeah, not like those other kids. Look at them all, separated from their friends.
Everyone certainly does look miserable.
They'd probably all be happier if they were -5s too.
Luckily, good old TJ has a plan to restore social order. The gang hands out new ratings, putting everyone right on the same level. It's a great reminder to never let anyone else determine your worth or make you feel lesser. Or, as Mikey put it,
But how? Why?
Because you're really good at being you.
Number 8. Discrimination. A new year brings new perks for our favorite 3rd Street gang. Now older, they're invited to the exclusive 5th and 6th graders club. At first, it's all fun and games, but eventually most of the gang is put off by the seemingly popular rhetoric against younger students.
Meet you on the field.
You got it.
All right.
You guys coming? You can't be serious.
Yeah, why would we hang out on the playground with little kids?
That is, except Mikey and Gus, who spend even more time with the other 5th and 6th graders. TJ forces them to confront their poor behavior, and King Bob even returns to deliver a home truth of his own.
As for you, Freddy, your job is to see that all kids are treated fairly, even the little ones. Remember, there will always be kids who are bigger than you, who consider you a little kid too.
However, arguably the most poignant message comes towards the end of the segment. It's a big playground with room for everyone, but when you create divides, it's easy to lose sight of what really matters.
But I guess if all you do is hang around with people who are just like you start forgetting how other people feel. And sometimes, you even start thinking you're better than them.
Well spoken, Detweiler.
Number 7. Standing up for yourself. As a show centered around elementary school kids, Recess addressed this subject several times.
I'm a really nice guy.
Well, I'm not a nice guy, Griswold. I'm not a nice guy, and I don't like you. Which means from now on, whenever I see your pale, pasty face, I'm sticking it where it belongs. In here.
However, the one most worthy of mention involves Gus finding the courage to stand up to 3rd Street tormentor Gelman. His friends offer conflicting advice on how to deal with the mean kid, from Mikey, who suggests a peaceful approach, to Spinelli, whose plan is a little more, shall we say, hands-on.
Violence is not the answer. It's never the answer. Violence only begets more violence.
Don't listen to him, Gus. Fight the big idiot.
No, be peaceful.
Fight back. Be
Peaceful!
Fight back!
Be peaceful!
Gus asks his father for advice and ends up with a World War I analogy that only half applies to his situation. Nevertheless, he decides he's done living in fear.
What?
You heard me, Gelman. You can't pick on me anymore. It's over.
You mean you're actually standing up to me? No one's ever had the guts to stand up to me before.
While Gus's methods are questionable, the message about standing up for yourself is just as valuable today as it was back then. Number 6. Peer pressure. Vince feels pretty left out when the whole school's quoting the latest comedy movie, Nitwits 3.
If we could start our lesson.
Yeah! This book's covered with letters!
Nitwits 3? This is gonna be a long day.
He wants to see it to get in on the joke, but his parents refuse, believing it to be too shallow. Vince's social isolation drives him to defy his parents and sneak out to the movie theater. After watching the film and taking notes, he gets caught.
Watch out!
Sammy?
Watch out, Sammy! Why, that's...
Vincent Pierre LaSalle, did you just walk out of that movie we specifically forbade you from seeing?
Me no.
Vince confesses why seeing the film was so pressing, and his parents remind him that there are more important things in life than being in the loop on the latest jokes. Not only does he lose their trust and get grounded, but by Monday, Nitwits 3 is last week's news anyway.
Captain Dumbbell!
Captain Dumbbell. That's what they should call me.
Number 5. Dealing with death. If you had a classroom pet growing up, this episode probably hit hard. The kids are devastated when their precious Speedy passes away over the weekend, and everyone grieves in their own way.
It's never too late to say goodbye. Speedy was our friend, our good friend. And I say we give him a funeral.
A funeral? For a hamster?
Hey, yeah, give the little guy a proper send-off.
A memorial service to share our heartfelt sentiment.
We soon learn that the Fluffball was seemingly a valuable member of 3rd Street's 4th grade for far longer than your average hamster's lifespan. When Spinelli finally confronts her feelings, the truth about the beloved pet comes out.
From the day this school was built, every 4th grade class has had a hamster named Speedy. And whenever one died, we teachers would secretly replace it with a new one before any of you found out.
The episode teaches us that, sadly, death is an inevitable part of the life cycle, and it's healthy and even important to give yourself the time and space to grieve. It also reminds us to cherish the memories and celebrate the lives of those we have loved and lost.
Maybe this Speedy wasn't your Speedy or yours or mine. The fact is, every Speedy was a Speedy to somebody. And just because there's more than one, doesn't change how any of us felt about him.
Number 4. Being the new kid. We've all been the new kid at some point, and even adults can't evade those first day jitters. Of course, it doesn't help when your playground's king tries to turn your newness into your entire identity.
Behold, we have a new kid. From now on, he will be known as the new kid. The new kid and nothing else.
Poor Gus doesn't stand a chance, and even the rest of the gang are afraid to upset the status quo. Eventually, TJ concocts a plan to help Gus find his confidence and pave his own way in the playground.
Hop on the bus, Gus.
Hey, Gus! Hiya, Gus. What's happening, Gus? Sit next to me, Gus.
What's going on here?
This is a great lesson in not judging others at face value, being kind and welcoming to everyone, and quite importantly, not being afraid to challenge injustice.
I am not a nobody. I am a somebody. I am Gus P. Griswold. You hear me? Gus P. Griswold!
Gus also learns that, new or not, he's deserving of his own space on the playground. Number 3. Shoplifting. Speaking of Gus, some bad kids take advantage of him after he falls prey to their awful prank. They promise to show him a secret creek and trick him into stealing candy from Kelso's. We know Gus isn't a bad kid, so it's hardly surprising when his guilty conscience starts to play up.
Checking the mark on this tree. Yep, good and thick. So what are we waiting for? Let's get to school. Oh no, the cops! They're coming to get me!
His friends notice his bizarre behavior, and TJ gives him a moving pep talk about doing the right thing.
He could turn himself in.
Turn himself in? But then Russ will get in trouble. Big trouble.
Yeah, but what's worse, Gus? Getting in trouble
or knowing he did wrong for the rest of his life.
Of course, Gus eventually comes clean, and luckily Mr. Kelso's very forgiving. However, we can't shake off how bad he felt throughout the episode. It was an effective way to teach kids that stealing is wrong, even if it's something as small as a piece of gum.
It's not why you stole it, Gus. It's that you stole it. I'm just disappointed. On the other hand, what you did just now, coming in here and fessing up, that took guts.
Number 2, challenging authority and social order. TJ Detweiler is a leader at heart with a strong moral compass.
None of the new changes help with any of that stuff. They just make school a crummy place to be. All I ask, sir, is that you give us back the school we love. And if this is what it takes to get it, then I'm willing to face the consequences.
He understands that just because a social hierarchy exists, it doesn't mean it's the be-all and end-all. Even those positions of authority sometimes lose sight of the big picture, and he's always there to steer them back on course with one of his classic schemes.
It's like magic. And let me tell you something, Principal Prickly. Magic is not school property.
No, we won't go.
Heck no, we won't go.
We've seen him stand up to King Bob, challenge Principal Prickly, and even take on the Department of Education. Miss Grotke also encourages her students to fight the power and stand up to the man. Recess taught us how important it is to use our voices to fight for what's right, even when it means going up against those who hold power.
Right on, TJ! Fight the power!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The importance of friendship. Arguably the biggest life lesson Recess imparted on us is that you can get through anything with a good group of friends by your side.
But I say, why pick one? All my friends are the most important friends I have. So don't feel sorry for me. I'm the luckiest kid in the world. I don't have a best friend. I have 5.
TJ, Vince, Spinelli, Gretchen, Mikey, and Gus are the dream ride-or-die crew that any kid or adult would be lucky to have. They celebrate each other's triumphs, commiserate through the hard times, and more often than not, have each other's backs through thick and thin.
I agree, Mama.
Did you hear that? He called Miss Grotke Mama. Now he's a mama's boy. Teacher, are you crazy?
It's the only way.
They're also incredibly altruistic to their fellow playground dwellers, even those who aren't always so kind in return. Don't get us wrong, like all friends, they have their fights, but those never last long. Having friends like these is invaluable, or as TJ might say,
Tender.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.